Hello tubes, this is Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're having a look at HMS Amethyst, a Black Swan class sloop I believe, in her 1949 guise. HMS Amethyst went up the Yangtze River in 1949 as the communists were advancing, and she was there to be a guard ship for the British legation there, and also to help any other foreigners that might be caught up in the Civil War. We'd already got, I believe, if it's HMS Consort. I will give you a proper rundown of everything when I've got the ship painted. She was taking over from another British warship, a destroyer. Amethyst is a smaller ship and a sub-hunter. Anyway, she was going up to relieve our other ship that was up there, and the communists had reached the one side of the bank and the nationalists held the other, and the communists then opened fire on her with batteries, a lot of them concealed, that they were using to attack the nationalists, and they literally holed her all over the shop. I mean, she was she was running light on crew as well, as if I believe, so I think she could only have enough crew to man 2 turrets. The whole of our navy in the Far East by then, at this time period, as usually the British government decrees were running light crews. So if you had a heavy cruiser which was also sent up to try and relieve her, only so many of the turrets were actually manned. They didn't have enough gunners on board, and but because obviously the Yangtze is a wide river, it's still, you've got battery after battery all lined up. It wasn't hard to put armour piercing shells and high explosive shells straight through her, and there were people crew getting killed inside the ship, and it was a disaster really. And the commander, the captain, was mortally wounded, although he managed to con the ship for a while, but she ran aground, and again, it's all messed up in my head, so I'll give you a proper rundown at a later date when I do the final reveal, and I will write some bullet points because it deserves a proper, not one of Gav's half scattered approach to military history, just simply for the guys that were on board. She suffered horrendous casualties. The ships that are like Consort that came down the river to try and put her in tow, she suffered a lot of casualties and a lot of deaths, and had to carry on steaming down the Yangtze because she just couldn't get a tow to her because she'd run aground. I can't remember if I've just said that. And then other ships were sent up to relieve her and try and tow her off, and they were holed all over the place. It really was, again, we're talking 1949. It was the Royal Navy suffered some horrendous casualties in what would later become known as the Yangtze incident. So a marra of the channel, Rob, sent me this. He sent me a lot of ships over the time, and Starling models, HMS Amethyst was one of them. It's one of their older resin ships. I think the guy does 3D printed ones now, because Rob also sent me a beautiful county-class destroyer, which will be made at some point. I just didn't have. I wanted some practice and this has proved it with this one with the photo etch. It's the gluing part of it. It's not so much bending it; it's the gluing. I make a right mess of things, and that's why, Rob, if you hear this, that's why I haven't done. Is it Glamorgan? I haven't done yet, but I will be. It's just I wanted to pluck up some courage. It took a bit of finessing, which I'm not very good at. Because you've got casting plugs and then trying to get them to sit flat, and that there's more work involved than you would do with a plastic ship, or even I would have thought a 3D printed one. But brilliant gift, and there isn't many people I'm in my late 50s, and there ain't many people that like military history and stuff that hasn't seen the film The Yangtze Incident. If you put it in YouTube, I believe there's a couple of channels that have the full black and white film that was done about the incident, and she actually plays herself in the film in the non-moving parts because she was in reserve, and she was not far along for going for scrapping, and her sister ship, I think it might be in the Magpie, actually played the moving scenes, and she did play herself in the static roles. So let's have a look what I've done. But yeah, go and check out any films on YouTube, the Yangtze incident with Richard Todd in, and you'll see Amethyst, and it's, you know, yeah, obviously there's, like all films, there's shortcuts in it and that, but it's a lovely film. Most of us that grew up in the 70s and early 80s on old black and white British films from the 50s and early 60s, you know, it's a classic. So here she is, just double-sided sticky tape. It's not tape, but it's what they put on the walls for posters and that. I'll just use a piece of scrap wood. In fact, this one I've obviously had a larger piece on at some stage. Need to pull that off later on. But I'll even keep her on in situ for painting. I decided with this in the end to go all in. Apart from, he also sent me some tiny little crew figures, and my life are they tiny. I'll show you them in a minute. I decided just to put everything on because I thought I'm going to mess up if I paint the decks and everything. I'm going to mess it up putting the railings on and that. So yeah, it's I've just gone all in and just hope for the best when I come to painting, because I'll do a lot of brush painting with this. It's not a case I'll put an overall colour on and then I will go in for hand paint and everything. She's got twin 4.5-inch guns, high angle, which could be used for in the war, because she served in the latter part of the war as well, against obviously U-boats in the Atlantic, and they're high angle for air defence. She's got two twin 40mm Bofors here. All the PE around, which is a right mess. That was a bit I didn't do very well on, and that's for what we call the Hazelmeyer mounts. They weren't very successful, but these were either I've stuffed them up or they were slightly big really for it. I'm not sure which. Probably my fault. But yeah, two twin 40mm Bofors and two single 20mm Oerlikons up forward. I've added, the only thing I've done myself, I decided I wasn't going to try and do any conversions, any of my usual stupidness. I've just added some plastic card around here. It didn't have any, and what I'd seen was they've got like obviously it's railings, but they've covered it over with I don't think it's actually, I might be wrong, I don't think it was metal. I'll have to have another look though before I actually do the full-on painting. This here, it's a screen. Let me get any closer. It's an awning that they had over in the Far East, and quite often His Majesty's warships, as they were then, they would often have awnings forward and aft, depending on the ship, just to give some relief from the heat. And I believe she did have this up without she didn't have the awning on, but she had the frame up still when she went up the Yangtze. I'd half thought about putting all the battle damage on, and she suffered a lot of battle damage. But I couldn't get enough photographs. It tend to be the same ones popping up all the time, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not gonna. It needs to be done properly, and I'm not just going to put a few holes in and just say, oh well, it's roughly what was there. Yeah, her guns again. I keep going into details. Her guns, the one was knocked out, I believe, but two were knocked out. One, which might have been the aft gun, the way she'd hit the sandbank and whatever, they couldn't bring it to bear. And because obviously, as you can see, they're open mounts, the communists were just sweeping the entire ship with machine gun and rifle fire, and just the crew were going down like 9 pins. So yeah, it's I can't thank Rob enough to give me the ship. I left this on, by the way. This, like, obviously there's a bit of a plug underneath, only because I had originally tried sticking this down with some PVA and it didn't really work. So I'll have to try again. But I was going to put it on a small base, and that, to be honest with you, will get covered over by the waves and stuff, or the waves. It's in the river, isn't it? But the Yangtze River will be be put up on the side. So right, there you go. 1 in 700 scale, HMS Amethyst, Black Swan class sloop, is she, or free? I think it says sloop at this time. Let's just move that along there. But yeah, cracking few weeks of just doing an hour here and an hour there. Just going along with the flow, really. Some things, they're not where I've put stuff, and me PE bending might not be exactly right, but I've done my best. These little bits on the up here are hedgehog mounts, so they fire forward, like small depth charges. Then obviously she's still carrying all the depth charges on the stern. The crew. These are the tiny little guys. I'll give you an idea. There's one, and there's obviously the second set behind, which is throwing it off a bit. Now, what I've done with those, all I am doing is I painted them with sunny skin tone, and then put some dabs of white for the white rig that they're wearing. I saw a lot of the guys when this was in Hong Kong, when she managed to get clear. She did manage to get off the bank and do a night run. I think it was after about 2.5, 3 months stuck up river. So she escaped. But a lot of the crew in their rig I saw was, some were just in, obviously sweltering, some, and a lot of them were in the engine spaces and stuff. So I'll just put a few you can't really see like this at the moment. Maybe. A couple of them I've just put in shorts, and the rest obviously a couple of white bits for hats where they were wearing them, and the rest are in shorts and like the it's not a t-shirt. I really don't know the name for it, but they're in white order. I did think of putting some darker blues, not for but for like guys in the engine spaces and stuff. But I just thought, no, let's keep it simple. I'm just putting these on for now. I didn't want to overpopulate the ship. I just wanted to put a few on for scale. So I thought we'll just go for these for now. They just got some couple of tiny supports I'm going to nick off just on a couple of them there. That's from Starling models as well, and obviously 3D printed. So again, next time you see this, it'll be a reveal. Like I'll paint it. There we go. It's getting shot. Paint everything, and then get her on the sea. Keep calling it a sea base. It's a river base, really, isn't it? But yeah, get her on a river base and under a little plastic cover. But yeah, really nice. I say not a large ship to work on. As you can see, in fact, where's my pencil? Because I haven't got my ruler around. But yeah, not big at all. But not massively hard. A couple of the gun barrels were slightly, like this one's got a bit of a lean on it. That's just in the resin. There's not much on that one as well. We can look there, but that's because we're looking through a viewfinder that's got magnification on it. And when she's down on normal viewing, you won't see that, hopefully. So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. Hope all is well with you. I have done some more work on the Yamato, but not enough really I wanted to bore you with until I've got more done. Yamato is progressing. Rob sent me that as well. But Yamato is going to progress. It's just going to take a bit of time. So look after yourselves. Whatever's left of your weekend, you enjoy it, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.